On its part, the federal government implemented various policies molded to rescue the country from a complete economic collapse. On the show today, we will review the monetary policies of the CBN and the impact they've had on the economy. Our guest is Nelson Ekujimi, Business and Public Affairs Analyst. He joins us virtually. Good to have you join us today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. Compliments of the TV.
I wish you the same. Now, looking at the year 2022, how will you describe the economic challenges that shaped the year? Or let's say, what are the economic challenges that characterized the year 2022?
Well, thank you very much. Quite a number of economic challenges, if we all recognize that part of the economic challenges that we faced globally was the Russia-Ukraine war. Another of the economic challenges we faced was the fallout of the insecurity that has bedeviled us as a country and a people. Then most importantly is the issue of the rise in the cost of almost everything in fact, except maybe rise in the cost of life. It has made life very, very difficult for people globally because of the Russia-Ukraine war, which affected agriculture as well as affected the power. And I think it's also partly responsible for the major stress that we are facing even right now in Nigeria.
All right. In your opinion, do you think the Apex Bank demonstrated mastery of the issues and the way and manner it addressed them?
Come again? What did you say?
In your opinion, do you think the Central Bank of Nigeria demonstrated mastery of the issues and the way and manner in which it addressed them?
Oh, well, you must recognize that every institution is people by human, and no being is perfect, or no organization is perfect. The Central Bank will, as a body, will interface with various stakeholders as well as experts and come up with a policy direction. And that policy direction is not casting goals. As time goes on, unexpected as one knew that those policies will be, will be reviewed, will be, they'll try to get the feedback in order to be able to shift, to align with the modern trends or global best strategies. So by and large, I think central banks have done quite well, even though we recognize that some of the factors or some of the indices that they have to contend with were beyond them. They were things they have no control over. So I think the central bank has not done too badly. We can just give them kudos and then continue to engage them that look, the economic challenges we are facing is something that involves all of us, and we always keep it, to speak up. You can see, for example, look at the issue of the minimum withdrawal for a week. The central bank had to bow to public pressure because it was apparent that as good as that policy was, the negative side was also on the eye. So central bank had to bend backwards, and respect the change in that policy. So by and large, I think central bank has done its best. You can only say kudos and we expect a better direction from 2023.
All right, you mentioned something. You said some of the issues were beyond them. When you say some of the issues were beyond them, that means you also agree to some people who are saying, you also agree with people who are saying that the Central Bank of Nigeria has been reactionary with its policies. Now, should we have waited to the point where we become reactionary, and there are things we would have put in place, things that if they had been in place before now, some of these global economic headwinds may not necessarily affect us as much as they are affecting us now. What do you make of that?
No, I disagree with those who believe the central bank is reactionary. Don't forget that we are a consuming economy. We are not a producing economy. So central bank policy is reactionary to our consuming food. And because we don't determine what goes on in the global market, central bank has to adjust its policy to align with the realities at home. So when we talk about the economic hardship that has come as a result of the Russia-Ukraine war, central banks have no power over that. They have to align their policies to address the fallout of such an anomaly in global policy. You also look at the issue of our insecurity. You look at the issue of our weather. For example, since today now, everybody is projecting that there will be food crisis come 2023 as a result of the flooding that that befell not only Nigeria but so many other countries in the world. You look at the growth, you look at the issue of climate change today. Look at the weather in Europe and even in Asia. See what they are going through. A lot of those countries are going to do minus degree centigrade. So these are issues, these are economic or security issues that the central bank has no power over, that we have to react to. The central bank cannot just put in place policy when there's nothing to be, to put it on, like we say in normal terms, like we say in law, that we cannot make something or nothing. So if I don't think we're producing policy, central bank will be able to, aggregate policies around their productive capacity. But as we speak, we are still struggling to diversify our economy, even though we recognize that the economy has done well with regard to the diversification. That the economy does not rely solely on oil for its revenue. As even attested to by the Minister of Finance, who said for over 8 months, the federal allocation that the state and the federal government and the local government will share also majorly from non-oil sector, that the gain of the oil sector was being used, to service the oil subsidy reduced. So some of these factors that people want to, cast satisfaction on central bank and make the game on their doorstep, I don't think it is appropriate, because some of these things are beyond the central bank. Those are the fallouts of our misplaced priority as a people over the years.
All right, well, let's look at the policies. Many of the reasons for which the CBN came up with them include, but are definitely not limited to, inflation, depreciating exchange rate, forex market illiquidity, surging energy costs, to mention a few. Now, starting with inflation, we saw the Naira redesign, and we also saw the continuous tightening of the monetary policy rate. Now, do you think these policies were effective?
Oh, well, I think to a large extent, these policies were partly effective because, in terms of the liquidity that central banks brought in place was also to address the excess money circulation that has, contributed to inflation. Don't forget, the problem of inflation in Nigeria goes beyond the monetary policy. Like I said earlier on, the security challenge where, a lot of our farmers, cannot go to the farm and they cannot produce food. Definitely the little in circulation, because we run, a capitalist economy, it is natural that those who have those receivables we want to, take advantage of the situation. And, for me, that is where some of these policies can be challenged, can be, reviewed. That look, the inflation that we are battling, it is not only because there's too much money in circulation. I agree there's too much money in circulation that, like we correctly came up with the statistics, over 80% of money in circulation is outside the bank, that the banks only have 20%. So as much as Nigeria, as much as the CBN is trying to mop up those money through the rate of the NPR, other countries worldwide are also doing the same, because everybody is feeling the pinch of inflation. So everybody is increasing rate so that people who have money, those portfolio investors, can bring their money into the system, officially. And this is what has driven the central bank policy, and it's in line with global standards. So for me, I think that policy has been partly effective to look at it, from the layman's point of view, even though we expect that as the days go by, we have a statistical, analysis of how this.
All right, if you can hear me, you can go on ahead. Okay, well, that's Mr. Nelson Ekwejulu, Business and Public Affairs Analyst, speaking to us on the 2022 monetary policies of the Central Bank of Nigeria and how effective or otherwise they have been in addressing some of the challenges that he has also highlighted during the course of this conversation. Please go ahead if you can hear me.
Yes, we're talking about interest rate. I said the interest rate, what India has done with regards to raising the interest rate, it's also what other countries are doing. They are trying to mop up excess liquidity in their system such that the price of goods and services will come down. And the central bank is also doing the same, like it is expected of any responsible institution that is starting with that responsibility. Then we talk about the designing of the naira. The central bank came up with the information that look, the naira has to be designed because it has passed the statutory period that is supposed to have been done. There is a lot of fake money in circulation, there are a lot of money outside, the banking system. So when you look at all these policies, you know definitely that the central bank did not just sit inside the offices and turn out the policies. That these policies.
All right, I guess that's noted. Well, from what you have said now, many analysts avow that the CBN's monetary tightening policy has actually not been as effective as expected, and they are saying that that particular stance is not enough to address the type of inflation which is being experienced in the country. They have highlighted fiscal deficit financing. They've talked about depreciating exchange rate, rising transportation costs, logistics challenges, forex markets liquidity, hike in diesel cost, climate change, which you already mentioned earlier, insecurity ravaging farming communities, which you have also mentioned, and structural constraints to economic activities. They have said these are the major drivers of inflation. And for them, if these are the major drivers of inflation, then we shouldn't only stick with monetary policy rate raising to address this. What are your thoughts?
Well, as much as I agree with this expert who have assigned in this class, we must also respect that, arresting inflation is not only the responsibility of central bank. Governments at various levels need to look at their budgeting, procedures. If central bank is trying to arrest inflation through measures that are within its domain, you don't expect the central bank to be the one that will, make the budget for maybe a state, for maybe a local government, or even the central government, where to prioritize its budgetary, its budgetary expenditure or revenue. So central bank is playing its role. Other stakeholders also have a role to play. We talk about insecurity that we are talking about. Central bank does not have any control over it.
Please go ahead if you can hear me. I like where that conversation is going now, talking about some other areas that have been mentioned which are not necessarily within the purview of the Central Bank of Nigeria, and maybe the fiscal, that will begin to look at the fiscal authorities and some other ministries when it comes to these issues. If you can hear me, do go on ahead, please.
Yes, I do know. I do know. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Because I was speaking before. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Do go ahead, please. I can hear you.
Okay, yes. I was saying that those areas that are within the purview of central bank, it is responsibility to arrest development in those areas. But those outside of the purview is within the responsibility of the fiscal authority. In this case, I'm talking about the federal government, I'm talking about the state government, I'm talking about the local government, to also play their part. So a central bank cannot say because other stakeholders are not doing that, that central bank will hold the stand and do what you know. Central bank is performing its responsibility within its purview. Like I stated earlier on, there are some inputs that are beyond the control of the central bank. And those are areas that the state, the federal government, and the state government to talk to the fiscal authority.
Let me come in here now. Now that you have said that the monetary policy or the monetary authority is doing its own bid, it's concentrating on things within its own purview and all that. Now, can we talk about the fiscal authority now? Maybe talk to us about what the fiscal authority should have done or should be doing to also ensure that there is a handshake between the two authorities, and that would probably move the economy forward. What are your thoughts?
Yes, my thoughts on what the fiscal authority should be doing is to look at the central bank report, as well as other agencies of state, and take those data and use it in preparing budgets, and use it in, in planning our policy, that we address those lapses that are beyond the central bank. In that way, we have a better society, we have an economy that is up and doing. But a lot of times we recognize that, all our stakeholders don't, relate with data when it comes to economic issues. That if we are not, related to data with economic issues, definitely there will always be that. So it is important that, whatever policies the central bank is coming up with, monitoring, it behoves on the fiscal authorities also to recognize that they have a role to play in order to address, these anomalies that are beyond central bank.
All right. Well, coupled with the Naira redesign is also the reduction in withdrawal limit. Of course, this has been reviewed upward, but I'd like to know what you make of that policy.
Well, in view of the fact turned out by the monetary authority, I think it is within the purview of central bank to at every time get feedback from the system in order to be able to be on top of its game. If children are still the limit to the withdrawal, it belongs on it to get the feedback on the economy. Because, like we all agree, as good as that policy is with regard to some other aspects, there's no, like we say in the normal balance, no pain, no gain. The policy has its own drawback, and the drawback is that a lot of our people in the rural areas, even as much as they are trying to bank the unbanked, community, we must also recognize that a lot of them deal cash procedures, unless what we are advocating. I think what the central bank needs to do right now is to complete their advocacy, and turning out the benefits of a cashless economy. Because when you have a cashless economy, you reduce a lot of security risk. You reduce the propensity of fake, money in circulation. But most importantly, how good is our infrastructural facilities, to accommodate this new change in policy. Also, how up and down will be our security architecture in addressing fraud and fraudulent activities in the business sector. Because a lot of people will tell you, oh, I sent X amount of somebody to somebody, and before I knew it, he didn't get the money. The money has been withdrawn from my account, to reduce those societal conflicts, to address fraud in the system. We need to up the game with regards to, our infrastructural architecture. We need to upscale the tempo with regards to our security architecture to deal with people who want to take advantage of, any lacuna in this system.
Well, very quickly now, according to the CBN, it says that the policy is aimed at, encouraging more people to come into the formal payment system and to also open up the rural and underserved areas to economic and payment opportunities. How convincing do you think that is?
Well, I think we must applaud the CBN for this policy. In the long run, it's a good one that we can run with. But in the interim, I think we must make provision for where we know we have shortfalls. A lot of our communities outside the urban areas, you cannot access telecommunication services. And I recognize that a lot of this ICT mode of doing business requires the telecommunication services. So what do we do in such a place? So there must always be that, there must always be that that little space for us to address those lacuna that we recognize that they cannot be covered within extra amount of years. So as good as that policy is, those areas that we don't have the necessary infrastructure to carry this cashless system, I think we should give that break to such people and such communities.
All right. Very Very quickly, in closing now, let's look at the forex market and liquidity. We saw the R2200, which was designed with the aim of ensuring that Nigeria rakes in $200 billion in forex repatriation exclusively from non-oil exports in the next 3 to 5 years. Talk to us, how effective has this been, and beyond how effective it has been, what do you make of this policy? If you can hear me, Mr. Nelson, I'm asking about this particular policy, the RT200 policy, which is aimed at raking in 200 billion naira, yes, in foreign exchange.
Yes, like if you can hear me, what I was saying is that as good as this policy is, I think we should just be patient and see how the policy pans out, and as well as ensure that we also keep our eyes on the ball. And to give our suggestions where we feel the policy is not meeting up to standards, so that the central bank will be able to take our feedback, and if need be, that policy will be reviewed or the policy change, overall. But as it is, that somebody who deals with, with data, with statistics, I want to keep my best and continue to watch events unfold with regards to this policy and see how it pans out maybe in the first quarter of the next year. And then let us see what the central bank will do based on the feedback they must have gotten from the system.
All right, $200 billion, that's what it is. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Let's have a final thought as we wrap up this conversation.
My final thought is to wish Nigerians and the rest of the world the prosperous 2023 as we go into the general election. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I've been speaking with Nelson Okujimi, a business and public affairs analyst. And still to come after the break, Brent crude futures rose 2.5% to $83 per barrel on Friday on the prospect of lower crude supplies from Russia. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll bring you the detail of these. Stay with us.